So now what I'm going to do is climb up the ladder with the mounting bracket for the spotlight off. And you'll notice there's 3 holes. So there's going to be 3 screws that I'm going to have to put through this. But first, since I'm doing it on brick, now if you're using wood, you may just be able to screw the screws in and not have to worry about anything. But since I'm using brick, I'm going to have to mark these holes. And then I'm going to have to use the drill bit, actually a drill bit that came with, I don't know if it was in this box or one of my other ring things, but the drill bit to drill the pallet hole for the concrete anchor. So what I've got here, I've just got a little nail. You could use a screw, whatever, and a hammer just to kind of position this, make sure it's level, and then mark that hole, mark each of those 3 holes where you're going to drill the pallet holes. So obviously something we want to do is make sure this is centered in this scenario. So I've already identified with my setup where the center point is, and I've marked that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it here. Pay attention to the up arrow on the bracket. You're going to want to make sure it's facing up. Now I'm just going to gently tap my hammer, and I can see now where I'm going to drill that hole. So actually what I'm going to do is go ahead and drill the first hole so that I can hold this in precisely while I drill the other holes. So let's put our little drill bit in here. Okay, now using our hammer, we can stick that little anchor thing in. Because again, I'm mounting it to brick, so I want to have this anchor point so that when I screw the screw in later, it holds it securely. Because if you ever get strong wind and that sort of stuff, you know, if it's not in there securely, it could be a problem. Also, it could be a safety hazard if it fell on somebody's head. Okay, so I've secured that anchor. Now what I can do as a test is hold my bracket back up in that over that actual anchor point, and then mark where the other 2 are going to be. Okay, so I've marked that hole. I'm going to drive my second pallet hole. Okay, I got that one. We're going to put the little anchor in it. And now I'm going to sanity check here, make sure all this still lines up. And it does. So now what I got to do is do the final one, this other side. Now we're going to drill the final pilot hole. Again, it's got 3. Okay, now we'll put the final anchor in. Okay, now we can actually get our screwdriver and screw this in here, man. Curiously enough, it came with the screws for the things. And this is a little charger. If you want to, what I recommend doing is pre-charging your battery so that it's full. I intentionally didn't charge it because I want to see how quickly the sun charges it up as a test. Okay, so we got these 3 screws. We're going to mount the bracket before we carry the ring up there. Not going to put them in all the way. I'm going to kind of put them in a little bit in case we have to slightly reposition because it's not exactly lined up. So I'm just going to kind of gently tighten. I mean, just barely enough to loosely hold it in there. And then do the other 2 so that they're lined up. That one I was able to hand tighten. And then this one. And the design of this bracket, it's not just one little tiny hole, it's actually a slit that's probably about the size of 3 screws side by side. So it gives you a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, now we're gently going to, and I mean, you don't want to over tighten this. I would recommend hand tightening because you don't want to break this plastic. This is a very solid piece of plastic, but you know, you don't want to break the plastic, you don't want to strip the head, and you don't want to push it down so much that it makes the mounting bracket not mate properly with the spotlight. So I am using a power tool, but I'm being very careful. Okay, so that seems to be on there. It's secure. I'm not going to over tighten it. Now what we're going to do before we connect the solar panel is that we're going to go ahead and mount the ring. And again, the solar panel is going to plug into the bottom. But I just want to make sure this works properly first. There it is. That looks good, man. I missed the track now. Dude, that is tight. That is so secure. You can't appreciate how secure it is until you touch it with your own hands. It's top quality. Now keep in mind, you can twist this when it's mounted. You can, well, let's see. You can twist that, there's the battery. So if you wanted to pre-charge the battery, or if you wanted to add a secondary battery, you can. But I get so much sunlight here, I don't really need that. But it's nice to know that you can add a second battery. It's nice to know also if you needed to pop that off without tools, maybe you had a lot of rainy days and you didn't get enough sun to keep it charged, or maybe you use it a lot. It's nice having that convenience. So yeah, let's go ahead and mount the solar panel. Now for this installation, I'm going to keep it really simple, and I'm going to mount the solar panel right here because there's a ton of sun. And also I'm going to mount it there because I'm going to be mounting a, subscribe and check out my separate video, because I'm going to be mounting a Ring. Actually, you see it in the box right there, the Ring spotlight camera and a solar panel for it. I'm going to be mounting it over here too. And I don't want to obstruct. It's going to go higher up. But yeah, let's mount the solar panel right here. Again, you get a lot of cord with the solar panel, as I mentioned earlier. It's a very long cord, but you can just tuck the excess behind the panel and it creates a more professional looking installation. And you know, here on Irish Guys Adventure Channel, we're all about professional impressions. So, let's see, so we got this. And now this is the same type situation. I'm going to drill 2 pilot holes, and I'm going to, do the same thing. This only has 2 though. Now you need to pay attention to the direction. There's a little tab here when you actually install the solar panel. So you want this little tab to face up, because when you slide your solar panel on later, it's going to go up, and then that tab will engage in that hole. So that's going to go up. So let's go ahead and drill a couple of pilot holes for the solar panel. So hot, man. I'm just like dripping sweat, dude. Burning up. So we're gonna hold this up here and kind of mark our spot. We don't want the panel to obstruct the lights, so I am gonna go up. Actually, I'm gonna go, I'll just go right there. So there's one hole. The first one I don't really have to mark as long as I've got an area below suitable for drilling. Okay, so here's my first hole. Okay, we got 2 holes. We're gonna stick in our anchors. The first anchor there it is. It's kind of off on me. This anchor is bad, but at least they provided spares, so I'm gonna grab a, actually I'll just grab, I bet there's this extra one in one of these boxes. Save me a trip inside, man. So I wanna do this right. Actually, I'm gonna go inside. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab one. Yeah, man, I just kind of hit that one sideways, and it, so take your time, be precise. Don't hurry, dude. Let's see, here we go. Put this in. And you probably want to push it in with your fingers a little bit first. That's where I messed the first one up. Yeah, now that one's good. Okay, so, and there was nothing wrong with the other one. I just hit it incorrectly. And now this, I'm not gonna use the power screwdriver for this, because this is, let's see, I got another screwdriver. I'm gonna grab it. This is the little ring screwdriver that came out of one of the Ring solar panel boxes. I've been installing so many of these things, man. This is my first light, but I've installed so many of the cameras that it's just easy to put a piece here and there and misplace stuff. Probably help if I move my ladder over here. And again, that tab part, let's see, I think I said it goes up. Let me see. I mean, in theory, it could work either way. Yeah, I want it facing up because that's when I mount it. That's where it's going to latch. I was going to kind of finger tighten both screws before I start screwing. Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't want to use a power tool with this one for sure. And actually, most of these ring things, you could probably just use, there's a reason they include this screwdriver. And what you can do too is reposition that to be up out of your way while you're screwing the bottom, and then push it down for the top. The bottom one's good and tight. Now I'm going to do the top. Don't strip your screw, just push hard and keep it in. Yeah, man, that doesn't wiggle at all, dude. It's good and tight. So now what we can do, before you put your solar panel on, see this swivels up and down? There's the other screwdriver that Ring provided. It's the blue one. And some of them, I think, they rotate. This particular blue one, this head doesn't come out. The one I had, I think, had the same thing. It's kind of like a star type screwdriver. So what I'm going to do is position this to where it should be optimal for sun capture, and then tighten it. Actually, I was wrong. It's the other screwdriver. I was thinking on one of those it was a different type, but I've done so many of these, man. It's easy to start messing them up in your head, mixing them up in your head. Okay, so that's good and tight. That won't move now. We're going to put the solar panel on. Again, that tab is up on the mount, and there's an up arrow. So what I'm going to do is slide it down, and you'll see the place where the tab on the top goes. So the hole on the solar panel's on the top, the tab on the mount's on the top. That's how all this is going to come together. And I felt it clip. So see, now I've got it well positioned. Now what I can do is, it has a little twisty tie. So I can remove a little bit. And I'll show you what I'm going to do to hide the cable. So we're going to take the cable down to this, to the camera, to the spotlight. We're going to plug it in, it's plugged in. Now we're going to take this excess and neatly bind it together using that little twisty tie thing. And if you wanted to, you could probably even twisty tie it to the post. And if you wanted to make it more, you could use some zip ties. That's actually what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some zip ties and make it more of a long-term thing. But if you want to use the little included twisty tie that's in here, I mean, you can make do. See that? So now you got a minimal amount of wire. You could even get those things that you know, attach wire to brick or whatever. You could do that if you wanted to. Hey y'all, Captain Irix Guy here. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to subscribe. It's youtube.com/Irix Guy. And ring that bell icon when you do to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.